Hi there, my name is Adele and I'm from Naked.Recovery. So I want to talk a little bit about the emotional dysregulation that we experience following divorce. It is really normal to feel massively dysregulated and emotional following what would probably be one of the biggest shame-based identity crises that you will experience in your lifetime. So divorce is a very unique kind of traumatic experience that people go through because people experience it like they failed at something, because relationships is one of those areas we're really supposed to nail and get right. So when we don't get it right, we feel like failure, and then the cycle goes on. So a lot of us can feel shame following that. There's also the stigma of being labeled with having been through a divorce. It's almost like you're walking around with a scarlet letter D and people are avoiding you. And people also experience an identity crisis because they don't know who they are following the shift in their identity. So expect yourself to have an emotional reaction to that. You know, the thing is when we go through anything traumatic, there are parts of our body and brain and neurotransmitters and hormones that kick in and take over that actually exacerbate some of that emotional dysregulation. So when you have a shock response, the first thing that happens is your HPA axis gets activated. So that's your hypothalamus pituitary gland axis, and it will signal the amygdala, and this fight or flight response will start getting generated within the body. Your body will tell the adrenal cortex to pump out adrenaline, noradrenaline, and your heart will start racing, you'll start salivating, your stomach will start to feel a particular way. So your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system are being highly charged. With all of that going on, we also now get an upregulation of dopamine. So we get this jittery feeling, and when we have almost too much dopamine happening from this situation, you can then have a dopamine crash where you then start to feel completely lethargic and dead, like you can't get up and you just don't feel like doing anything and you have no motivation. That then can impact serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter involved in almost every system within the body. So we start to feel really sad and moody and kind of, emotional following that. And then on top of all of that, the more adrenaline and noradrenaline you have and this dysregulation of your neurotransmitters, the cortisol hormone kicks off, and that, as it becomes really upregulated, can suppress the working of the hippocampus, which is needed for sensible thinking, calm thinking. It's like the calm secretary of the brain. It's the part of the brain that goes, all right, okay, this is a terrible thing that's happened, but you're going to be okay. And remember the last time you went through trauma, this is like that last time, and you're going to be all right, and this is all going to be all right, and we're just going to do this, and that. That part of the brain is suppressed, and it doesn't work as well. You also struggle to make new memories, and you struggle to access memories clearly. So a lot of people find that they're experiencing a brain fog or a lack of concentration, the ability to retain information. So this is an absolute shit show of emotional things that are going on as a result of the dysregulation of neurotransmitters, hormones, and systems within the body. So the critical thing to get your emotions under control, first things first, you've got to sort out your nutrition. On Naked.Recovery program, we are hardcore in implementing our trauma diet, predominantly because we find that by people regulating their inflammation and nutrition, they actually can balance out a lot of the hormones and neurotransmitters within their body, which then helps them regulate their emotions better. So critical things: alcohol, sugar, caffeine, really dodgy, ultra processed, high fat, high salt foods, so all junk foods, right? Lots of dairy can really mess with the inflammation within your body. And inflammation can relate to depression, as a lot of studies have shown in the last few years. So it can actually really dysregulate your mood. So sorting out your nutrition, focusing on getting really good protein, healthy fats, healthy greens at all your meals, drinking enough water, sorting out your sleep hygiene so that you get into a good system, going on a device diet. So basically social media and looking at my device 24/7 is not a good time to do that. Going on a bit of a detox from devices, going back to basics. Think of, right, I need a really good daily checklist, a healthy routine, get up in the morning, have my breakfast, drink my lemon water, go for a nice walk, get some exercise, get some body movement, but not too much exercise, because that can also dysregulate cortisol. So there's lots of different things that you can do to control your emotions, but one of the best things, other than sorting out your routines and your habits and your grounded routine and nutrition, is also to learn self-regulation techniques. A lot of what we find when people go through divorce is they've never been taught or learnt how to regulate emotions outside of a relationship. So learning that independence, figuring out how I can regulate my emotions and how can I modulate my triggers better, is going to be a really empowering way for you to kind of get back into empowerment. Processing what's happened in your divorce is also really going to help you. So getting yourself onto a program or into a system where you actually can figure out how this all happened and do the learnings, that's going to put you on track for a healing journey. So those are just some tips that I want to give you, but if you want to find out a little bit more about how our programs work, book a clarity call with someone on my team. We'll tell you about our programs. You can come and join us and get on that healing journey today. Thanks.